Are you afraid to go to the hospital? You should be. Hospital-acquired infections is a huge international problem. In the US alone, annually, $20 billion and 100,000 deaths. Most of these infections are called never events. They should never happen, and therefore they're never reimbursed. On top of the lack of reimbursement, however, are staggering Medicare penalties in the hundreds of millions of dollars. Most of these infections are catheter related. So why can't the world fix the problem? Chart on the right. As antibiotic-resistant organisms are on the rise, the drugs to combat them are on the decline. We have the solution. It's called the LightLine phototherapy system. No one else has this solution, just us. We're using visible light. That's light that the human eye can see, 4 or 5 nanometer light. Significantly, it's not UV light. UV light degrades catheter materials and is toxic to human DNA. Our technology is put in off-the-shelf catheters. It's an add-on. On the right, you see our technology in the LightLine endotracheal tube. We consist of 2 components. You see a reusable power source connected to the catheter, and inside that catheter is a disposable fiber optic. That fiber optic is going to emit light inside and outside the catheter. It is going to emit the light only where we etch it pursuant to a proprietary patent-pending process. Where it emits the light, it's going to disinfect and sterilize the catheter, preventing infections. The technology is patented. It will be the first antimicrobial for all infections: dialysis, urology, respiratory, and vascular. It works. We've tested it against the most common microorganisms that cause these infections. We've done lots of work, but here is one glimpse of an in vitro test where we injected Staph aureus in catheters, and then here's what you see. Light treated on the left, there's no infection, there's no bacteria. On the right, no light. That is established biofilm that causes infection. We also did a pig trial. We put Foley catheters in the pigs and inoculated them with an infectious amount of ampicillin-resistant E. coli. On necropsy, here's what you see. This is the bladder. On the left, where it was light treated, there's no gross evidence of bacteria. And on the right, where there's no light, that is an infection from the bacteria. First, we're going to put our technology in a peritoneal dialysis catheter that we will launch in September 2021. The reason this is our first product is several. First, there's a huge clinical need. Although it is generally understood and accepted by physicians worldwide that peritoneal dialysis done in the home is better for the patient's quality of life and clinically than hemodialysis done in a clinic, 89% of the patients in the US are on hemodialysis. How come? Well, they're scared to death of getting an infection, and we can fix that. But there's also an executive order now, as of July 2019, incentivizing home dialysis. And the most important reason this is first is because you have a very quick path to market, 510K. As you can see, where the fiber optic is lit up here is where the patient touches it. It is outside the body, and therefore no animal trials, no clinical trials, a straightforward 510K path to market. PD market is big. Our distribution, we have a distribution partnership model. We don't want to have our own sales force. We want to use our partners' established market penetration. There are 127 million PD patient days a year. They use our product once a day, $15 a day. That is a $1.9 billion market. We estimate that our partner can get 2% of that market in year 1, or $38 million, and 6 years later, the worldwide market, 30%, or over $500 million. Next, though, is the holy grail. We put our technology in a Foley catheter to prevent catheter-associated urinary tract infections. This is the most common infection worldwide, not just the United States. It's the only healthcare-acquired infection that hasn't gone down in decades. It's a never event, so it's not reimbursed. It's expensive. But it's also a 510K, but it's a de novo 510K. We need animal and clinical trials, and that's why it's our second product and not our first. Foley Market is big. We already have an exclusive distribution agreement for this with Medline Industries, which is the largest private distributor in North America. We did a bottom-up analysis and estimate that 35 of Medline's 50 infectious disease sales reps can convert at the beginning 3 hospitals per quarter per rep, and later 5. And that comes out to, in year 1, 2% of the US market at close to $38 million, and year 6, 15% at over $300 million. It's a big revenue opportunity for all 4 fields of use. We estimate that we will get $1 billion plus in revenue 6 years from product launch. As you can see on the milestones here, in 2021, we launch our PD first generation product. In year 2, 2022, we launched the second generation dialysis, but also the Foley catheter, followed by the endotracheal tube, followed by vascular. This is a snapshot of our timeline. Through the end of the year, this year, we're working on 2 key milestones. Finalizing the light engine so that it is ready for GLP testing, the testing that we will use to submit to FDA. We're also refining our high intensity short duration testing. We are now killing the microbes in minutes, whereas a year ago, we were killing them in hours. Those 2 milestones will cause a very large, steep increase in valuation. And in 2021, we will do the FDA testing of our first product, get FDA clearance, and launch that product in September of 2021. After that product launch, we believe we will be revenue funded and then launch the next year our second generation PD product, followed by either the Foley or the endotracheal tube. Thank you.